Kako, and thank you for joining us here on This Is Now. First at noon today, new details in a deadly shooting in West Oahu.
Loved ones have identified the man who was killed near the Waianae Boat Harbor, and we now know the name of the suspected gunman.
25-year-old Rustin Brown Castro is currently in police custody with a second-degree murder charge pending. Just before 11 a.m. yesterday, he's suspected of shooting 31-year-old Shalo Chong Kim multiple times after an argument. Police say Brown Castro drove away from the scene, but police caught up with him about 2 miles away near the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center.
He then ran from the vehicle, but officers were able to apprehend him on a nearby beach. Witnesses reported that the 31-year-old victim and the suspect had an ongoing dispute. The argument escalated today, and that's when the suspect shot the victim multiple times.
No word yet on exactly what that argument was about. Kim was pronounced dead at the scene. Honolulu firefighters are now looking into what caused a 2-alarm apartment building fire in the McCully area. Smoke was seen coming from the 4th floor of the building on the corner of South Beretania Street and Poha Lane just after 7:30 last night. Firefighters got the fire under control in about 10 minutes. No one was inside. A damage estimate and a cause has yet to be released. The new Democratic presidential ticket of Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is holding their first full day of events today. They have a couple of stops in a few key battleground Midwestern states. Skylar Henry has more from Washington.
Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, brought their campaign to Wisconsin Wednesday.
In 90 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by a new title, Vice President of the United States of America.
Walz, who previously served 6 terms in Congress representing a rural district that voted for former President Trump in 2016, made his case to his fellow Midwesterners.
Being a Midwesterner too, I know a little something about commitment to people.
The Wisconsin stop, along with one later in Detroit, comes as the latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows former President Trump with a 1-point lead in Wisconsin and tied with Harris in Michigan. Both are within the poll's margin of error.
I think that it's super cool that they're going all lengths to reach everyone.
While Governor Walz has been in public office for nearly 18 years, he's been relatively unknown on the national stage until now.
I think he'll be a good fit. I'm still doing my research on him, but from what I heard so far, I like.
During a campaign stop in Michigan Wednesday, Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, who is a Marine veteran, went after Walz's National Guard record.
He has not spent a day in a combat zone.
As the Harris-Walz ticket continues their battleground state tour over the next few days, Vance will also be visiting those states with the message that the Democratic ticket is too liberal. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
As we approach the 1-year mark of the deadly wildfires in Lahaina, students there in West Maui are returning to school. Our Casey Lunn has more.
Signs of progress and hope. You can see the framing coming up on that property below Lahainaluna High School and Lahaina Intermediate. A really positive sign on a positive day for so many students that are returning to class. It's the first day back for public school students. Of course, they have tomorrow off. That was a decision that was made by the DOE. We also spoke to parents about today and what this means to their ohana.
It's really bittersweet. We're excited that the kids get to go to school and to be amongst their peers. I feel like it's really healing to be in community, especially since now all the kids are for the most part out of the hotels and in different points of the island. But at the same time, it's also sad because it's a reminder of our reality that we all do have to commute from different points of the island, and we're driving past our town that have burnt down, and the kids have to see this every day when they're at school. So, you know, but I think it's mostly positive.
My daughter is 17 years old. She's a senior in high school. This is going to be her last year, and also my last. She's my baby, you know, going to school. I'm going to be graduating, and so I think the emotions are kind of high. It's up, down, and all around today.
One challenge many parents are faced with is transportation. Courtney Lazo is bringing her 2 ninth graders at Lahainaluna High School here from upcountry.
I feel really frustrated with the DOE. Robert Hawaii got the contract for the Lahainaluna or the Lahaina route, and Lahaina Luna High School had a bus that got pulled as of yesterday. So yesterday was freshman's first day. The bus showed up to pick them up and drop them off, and then the DOE said, no, we're not going to do that route. So the high school kids have to catch the public Maui bus to the Lahaina Cannery Mall, and from the Cannery Mall up to the school. But if Roberts Hawaii has the drivers to do it, you know, they're not in the same situation as ground transportation where they don't have drivers. Why can't they bring our kids to school?
We also checked in with teachers. Nate Kahaiali'i is a teacher at Lahaina Intermediate School. This was his message to students as they head back today.
Importance of community and to be there for each other, you know, understand that everyone is going through this at their own pace, and some people are, you know, mentally, emotionally ready, and some people aren't. And to have the understanding, it's like, hey, it's like the most important thing we need to do right now is just to be there for each other and help each other out.
Nate's got an inspiring story. He lost his home here in Lahaina. He finds strength through running, something that's been important to him and has raised money for his community.
I ran the New York City Marathon 2 years ago, and I saw a lot of people, you know, having great causes to run for. And with the unfortunate news of the wildfires happening last year, I thought I could make that, you know, my cause and raise money for the community. And so I did that at the Chicago Marathon, at the Honolulu Marathon, and I'll be doing that again at this coming up New York City Marathon as well, raising more money for Lahaina Strong.
Again, those public school students will have tomorrow off. Parents that I spoke to say they think that was the right decision to make from the DOE, a chance to come together as a family, as a community, and work toward healing. Reporting in Lahaina, I'm Casey Lunn for Hawaii News Now.
As we near the one-year anniversary of the wildfires, we're learning more from Hawaii leaders about the challenges that still exist and the ongoing rebuild. Ryan Kalei-Suji spoke with Congresswoman Jill Tokuda about the next steps in recovery.
On Spotlight Now, we caught up with U.S. Representative Jill Tokuda, who provided an update on how the federal government continues their efforts to support those residents of Maui that were impacted by the deadly wildfires on Maui.
There's been a number of different studies talking about housing options and struggles with the programming. I'm going to be meeting with FEMA later on this week to really look at some of the studies that have been done to take a look at the temporary housing situation going forward. We'll be meeting with our federal agencies directly to talk about what we need to do, how we need to potentially change our procedures going forward to be more receptive to victims from a cultural and a people standpoint, but also how are we going to help? Because there's clearly issues when it comes to mental health. Clearly, there's issues when it comes to financial security, housing insecurity, the most basic of our needs that people need more support.
The Congresswoman also spoke about the importance of educating her colleagues in Congress as well as the White House, noting that while it may be an election year with the future of who will be in the White House yet to be decided, Representative Tokuda spoke about the importance of reaching out across the aisle to continue support for Maui.
Continuing those relationships on both sides of the aisle to make sure that we're able to engage any administration, all members of Congress. That's critical. That's what I'm committed to right now. And I can assure you that no matter who sits in the presidency, they will know about Maui. We will send them an invitation, and I hope to have them walking through here to see what we are doing and how they can help.
You can catch the rest of our conversation with Representative Jill Tokuda on the streaming platforms of Hawaii News Now. Join us next week as we will be spotlighting agriculture and focusing in on the impact of invasive species in our community. We'll see you next week Tuesday on K5 at 1 p.m.
The $4 billion global settlement for thousands of Maui wildfire victims is raising questions about accountability. Hawaiian Electric is pledging $2 billion, the state is paying $800 million, and various landowners are splitting the rest. But none of them are admitting any liability, and two major investigations on the cause of the fires are still incomplete. So some victims wonder about the motive behind the settlement.
They want to settle this before the AG's report comes out. The next one, they want to settle it before the ATF report comes out, before the truth comes out. And this is a way to do that.
It raises a lot of questions because, again, our understanding from the governor's administration is that the state would prevail if sued. So why this number? What is it for?
The ability to pay is a big issue, and the timing, when people are willing to pay.
Victims' attorney Jana Poe says $2 billion may be all HECO can afford, and the state's contribution made the early settlement possible. The state and county say their investigations are moving along, and nothing will be covered up when they are complete. In a newly released statement, Kamehameha School CEO Jack Wong added, "Our joining this settlement ensures the restoration of Lahaina's people and community, protects Keali'i Pauahi's trust, and offers future opportunities and hope. We made this decision as a neighbor, land steward, water conserver, education provider, and community partner in Lahaina." 102 lives were lost from the disaster. Our Chelsea Davis is catching up with survivors to see how they're coping after losing loved ones in the fires last August.
That's Maria Victoria Recolizado dancing in the coral tank top in the back. She and her co-workers made this video on TikTok last year. Those who knew her best affectionately called her Vicky. They say she was fun to be around and she loved to dance.
She's very happy-go-lucky, but she knew how to get the work done, and she knew how to make you laugh. And that was, I think, one of the things I miss the most about her is that she was able to work hard, but she would be able to turn around and just make you smile.
Vicky worked in various positions at the Westin Maui Resort and Spa for nearly 30 years. She died in the fire in Lahaina last year with her husband Eugene and their 11-year-old son Justin. Her loved ones are still trying to process the life-changing loss.
I would never wish that kind of an outcome on anyone, and I can only hope that there is an afterlife, and I hope that you're flourishing there in peace and happiness with your husband and your son. I hope that you can see that we all miss you very much here, and we hope that you're watching over us, and we still feel your spirit and your presence.
The Recolizado Ohana are among the 102 lives lost in the firestorm last August. Also among one of the youngest victims, 14-year-old Kiro Fuentes. His older brother says their lives are shattered.
The memories, they will not never ever stop flowing.
Josue and his parents went to work that morning. Kiro stayed home. Josue lives with immense guilt.
I apologize. I should have stayed home. You know, he did not deserve to go out that way. But you know, we gotta be strong. But it's gonna be hard.
As he and his family endure this unimaginable suffering, he wants the world to know
we find strength in God. And hope, I guess. Thank everybody. The county leaders, the local leaders, everybody who showed us the love of Maui. Thank you guys all.
Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
Some heartbreaking stories there on Maui, even a year after this wildfire. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow as we will have our special coverage with our teams there on Maui to mark the 1-year anniversary since then. Turning now, we have Chris Kim in the H&N Digital Center for our weekly crime roundup. Chris, what do you have for us today?
I got 3 cases that I want to highlight. The first is an assault in the 3rd degree that happened on Monday, July 15, 2024, about 5:10 p.m. The victim was working at a convenience store in the Makiki area, more specifically off of Wilder Avenue, when this male suspect assaulted the victim, then fled. He's been described as an unknown male, fair complexion, white short hair, white beard and goatee, wearing a blue shirt, gray colored shorts, and one slipper and 1 black shoe.
Right.
The second case of theft in the 3rd degree that happened on Tuesday, July 16, 2024, about 5:10 p.m. These 2 unknown females walked into a business in the Waianae area, stole numerous items, then fled in a green Ford F-150 bearing Hawaii license plates MHY588, but those plates do not match that vehicle. Those plates actually come out to a 2002 silver Toyota Tacoma. Both suspects are being described as unknown females in their 30s. One is wearing a red tank top and the other was wearing a black and white top, and they fled in a green-colored Ford F-150 with distinct black-colored rims.
And this video is pretty clear of their face, so I'm sure someone out there has to recognize these 2 women.
Yeah, they're busted.
All right, and let's go one more.
In our last case of theft in the 2nd degree that happened on Saturday, July 20, 2024, at about 9 o'clock p.m., These two suspects, one male and one female, proceeded to a convenience store off of Kauhali Street, then attempted to purchase numerous items. The male suspect produced a credit card that didn't work and then said that he'd return to make payment, but he never did return. He's being described as an unknown male. The other suspect is an unknown female. We do have their descriptions posted on the www.honolulu.org website, bottom left-hand corner, under wanted persons, as well as all the other cases that we need the help from the community in helping us to solve.
All right, Chris, Kim, once again, the best way that people can submit their information is you also have the mobile app. Tell us about how that works again.
Yeah, so we have an app called the P3 Tips app available on smartphone or tablet. The viewers can go ahead and download that app. They're able to submit their information, as well as submit photos and or videos, and also to be able to track their tip as well. They can also utilize the hotline at 808-955-8300.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Let's send things live outside now. This is through the eyes of our tower camera. It is a beautiful day here in Hawaii. Stay with us. After this short break, we'll have a look at your local forecast, as well as a wrap-up of the latest Olympic headlines. Stay with us.
How's it on this Wednesday? We are now in the third month of hurricane season. Still very quiet here at home in the Central Pacific. However, we still have two tropical storms in the East Pacific. We've got Fabio and Emilia. Obviously, you can see Emilia is stronger now. They're going to merge into one storm and become tropical storm Emilia by tomorrow, and then it's going to start to fall apart. It will not bring us any severe weather. Hopefully, it can bring us some rain, but if that happens, it's going to happen more than a week from today. And you can see this morning, still mostly dry. There are a few minor splashes coming into a handful of windward spots, but otherwise you can expect another dry day. And as far as the winds, they will run at moderate levels again today. They'll downshift just a little starting tomorrow and hold at about 10 to 20 miles an hour from tomorrow through the weekend. So enjoy today. It's going to be beautiful. Although there is the lack of rainfall, there is a slight elevated chance for some brush fire spread because it's very dry out there and the humidity levels are low. Surf's pretty small as well. There's the biggest waves on the east side, but it's choppy. We are expecting south and east shore swells coming in sometime by Friday into Saturday, so watch for that. Until then, though, still should be fairly dry. A little breezy today, slightly slower winds from tomorrow all the way through the weekend, then the winds pick up again. And the next chance for rain likely coming on Sunday, probably into Monday.
A
Hello everybody, Kyle Chinen coming to you from the H&N Digital Center. It's time for your Olympic headlines for today, Wednesday, August 7th. The United States men's indoor volleyball team fell to Poland today in 5 sets. They now move to the bronze medal match set for Friday. Lots of Hawaii connections on the court in Hawaii-born Eric Shoji, Micah Christensen, Micah Ma'a, but University of Hawaii grad and former All-American Taylor Averill. He had 5 kills, 2 blocks, and an ace. They now look towards that bronze medal match. On the links, the Olympic women's golf competition began today, and France's Céline Boutier finishes day 1 at the top of the leaderboard with a 7 under. Now Team USA is represented on that top of the leaderboard with Lilia Vu coming in at T3. And on the track, Quincy Hall for the United States with an epic comeback to win the men's 400 meter. This is his first Olympic medal, and it's a shiny one. He gets the gold in the event. Now let's take a quick look at the official medal count. And that has been your Olympic headlines for today, Wednesday, August 7th.
Workers at Boeing say they felt pressure to work too fast, and that led to mistakes. The National Transportation Safety Board is conducting a 2-day hearing. Its purpose is to investigate the door plug blowout on an Alaska Airlines flight in January. Mechanics had to remove the door plug to fix some rivets near it on the plane. One said there was no specific training to open or remove a door plug versus a regular door, and they had to just figure it out. Interviewed workers also said the workload at the Boeing factory is so great, there's no way to avoid mistakes. One told interviewers, quote, "Planes come in jacked up every day." A final report on the NTSB's investigation is still months away. And what was expected to be a week-long mission for 2 Boeing Starliner astronauts back in the beginning of June has turned into a months-long journey. There is now talk of bringing them back home possibly in 2025. This as testing continues to find the root cause of issues Starliner had on the way to the International Space Station. The spacecraft suffered helium leaks and propulsion problems on the first leg of its flight. NASA announced today it's exploring several contingency plans. One of them is keeping Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams on the ISS for another 6 months. But there is no clear date to return to Earth just yet in sight.
A Massachusetts family holding a yard sale for an elderly relative had an unexpected surprise. They unknowingly sold rare coins, but a collector realized their value and returned them to the family. Just as Julie McDonald reports, the returned coins included a note with an even more valuable lesson.
It was nice because my brothers and I got to spend some time together at the house and did a lot of reminiscing and so forth.
It's been an emotional year for the Spiewakowskis, moving their elderly dad out of his Dudley home, selling the house and many of his possessions. But they'll never forget what they gained in something that was given away.
We never would have known. We didn't know that stuff was in there, and we wouldn't have missed it.
A yard sale customer paid $6 for a box of costume jewelry. Days later, he tracked the family down through their realtor.
I don't remember seeing this. But, you know, this is what he put in the mailbox, and he said that they were worth over $200. I don't know the value of these coins.
And even more touching than the return of the items were the words that came with them.
I just wanted to share a quote with you that has guided me to a richer life. Beware of over-concern for money, position, or glory. Someday you will meet a man who cares for none of these things. Then you will know how poor you are. Kipling. And he signs off, "Take care, Mike."
The family never saw Mike and only know that he's a collector, someone to whom the coins could be even more appealing. But his honesty, more precious than silver.
Those are the heroes in the world. They do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. People can be so mean to each other, and we forget how nice people can be. I hope he knows what a tremendous impact he made. It made a big difference with us.
What a great story, and such a nice guy for returning
Yeah.
those coins. All right, just a reminder before we do our last story that we will be having special coverage tomorrow for the 1-year anniversary of the Lahaina disaster. So stay with us. It's going to be really emotional. Okay, finally, what is like a scent you think of when you go to the mall?
Cinnabons,
Right?
shopping, and pretzels.
Yes, of course. So Auntie Anne's, the famed pretzel shop, is bottling up the aroma of its freshly baked pretzels to create a fragrance that's heavy on the 90s nostalgia. So it's called Need. The company is opening its first store to sell the perfume on August 13th in Soho, New York. So you can tell it's a big deal. You can buy a bottle, a 1-ounce bottle for $25 or a 3.4-ounce bottle for $45. The perfume will also be sold online on the company's website.
Who don't want to smell like a freshly baked
I
pretzel?
know. You know what I think of? Cookie Corner.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I almost had cookie corner last night. Come home, smell like cookies and pretzels. I love it. Let's end today with a live look outside at Waikiki. This is the camera we wanted to show you earlier.
Beautiful.
It's so stunning. Look at the colors of the water there. Another beautiful day here in Waianae. We thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode of This Is Now.
Aloha.